The first Joker movie, I feel, was a masterpiece. That being said, let's talk about Joker 2, Joker Folie A Deax, and how I felt about it. Guys, I went to a fan screening for this on Monday, and I was hyped because I was really a big fan of this premise of it being like a musical. I was curious to see how they were going to pull that off, and I really wanted to see Harley Quinn, played by Lady Gaga, and I trusted Todd Phillips. Hey, I was mistaken, guys. I know a lot of people do not like this movie. It says Rotten Tomatoes, 38% by critics, 36% by the audience. That's some low ratings. There's got to be a reason for all this, right? Well, guys, it's long. It is an 2-hour and 18-minute film, and a lot of it could have been cut down if they got rid of the musical sequences. Okay, you've heard all of this stuff before by all the other critics. I'm going to try to add something new to all of this. Yes, it's long. Yes, it's boring. The acting is good. The courtroom scenes, there's one in particular that's really, really well done because they bring back some of the characters from the first movie. Zazie Beetz comes back, and she has a good sequence in there. But Gary Puddles comes in and steals the movie. For me, he was the best part of this film. Brendan Gleeson is like the guard. He sings at one point too, and it's like, well, yeah, you've got a good singing voice, but what does this have to do with the rest of the movie? Can we cut this out? It's like 2 hours and 18 minutes. My experience of the film, guys, there was a man who decided to look at Facebook Marketplace for the entire movie. So that should tell you basically how people are going to react to this movie. That, hey, if you're bored, then you're not going to be tuned into this. You're going to pay an extra $20. Sit there on your phone when you could do at home. I don't know why people do that, seriously. Guys, I like the acting in this. I like the cinematography. I have seen the TV show Gotham. So if you have not seen the TV show Gotham, then you may not be familiar with certain storylines because the show Gotham wasn't allowed to use certain characters. Like, they were not allowed to use the Joker character. So they cleverly ducked around that by bringing in characters like Jerome and Jeremiah, where Cameron Monaghan knocks it out of the park, man. And they created this concept of the cult of Jerome. And basically what that did was Jerome was such a big character, like he laughed like the Joker and stuff like that. So they had these groupies come around and like worship him. And that's basically what happens in Joker Folie A Deax, that other people start to worship him, right? They start to idolize him. And that could work if it was executed well, but then when it starts to fall off the rails, it's like, guys, we're already 2 hours into this, and now you're trying to hit us over the head with this stuff. Some of the musical sequences work. If they're in the movie, you can see stuff in the trailers here that, like, that's not in the movie. She doesn't dance like that. I was waiting to see her dance like that. Why can't I just see her, Lady Gaga and Harley Quinn dance like this throughout the movie? That's what I want to see. Maybe I should just cut that out and put it on like repeat. I don't know. But guys, I cannot totally understand why this is a huge monumental disappointment for people, because the first movie is good and it should have been a standalone film. Yes, we've heard it. It made $1 billion. Of course, they're going to make a sequel. So this is what we get. And I'm going to publish a short later on that'll detail reasons why people hate it, and I'm going to talk about spoilers in that little video. And a lot of it has to do with the cult of Jerome from Gotham. They emulate that here in this. It's going to make a lot of people angry. So where do I stand? I kind of have to look at my score sheet here because I'm not quite exactly set. So let's go through what I normally do here. Acting, directing, story are out of a possible 2 points. Cinematography, score are 1 point each. So the acting was good. Like, no doubt about that. Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix are good, so I'll give that a full 2 points. Directing. I'm going to start off with 1 point. It may, because the technical aspects you got to give 0.5 for, right? the execution of the story, you got to take off a point. Uh, yeah, so that one may come down a little bit. The story, it has an interesting premise. Is it a story that I could champion to you guys and say, you got to go check it out because the story does this and it's going to make you feel like this? The only feeling that you're going to get out of this is going to be frustration, anger, and boredom. And that's not something that you should normally recommend. So where do we sit? We sit at 4.5. Cinematography, as I said, is good. So I'm going to give that a full point because, as I said, well, you got to go with what you're going to go with. It looks brilliant. I saw it in the IMAX, so I can tell you it looked crisp. Um, really well done. The score, not so much. The score was serviceable, and that's with including all of the musical numbers. If I were to be lenient, I could probably give this score a full point as well. But I'm not humming any of the tunes afterwards. So we're sitting at a 5 right now, and that's middle of the road, and that may come down a bit when I knock down directing to 0.5 because I feel like that's where I'm headed towards. I feel like I'm trying to be as generous as I can, and guys, I'm really stretching myself for this, and it's kind of a bummer. I'm going to be a little bit higher than what the critics were saying there over on the tomato meter because 38% is low, 36 by the fans. I can totally understand. Like, it's like, oh, I really like this property, and then you give me something that I don't like. So it's kind of like critics saying with Folie A Deax, Phillips gives fans a come down that essentially punishes them for enjoying the volatile energy of the first film. It's more a corrective than a sequel, a go directly to jail card in the movie form. Phillips never pays off the promise of an extravagant song and dance spectacle, a full-blown Batman musical. Yeah. Audience members say, terrible. The movie made no sense. The music scenes just wasted time. We echoed that. The empathy you felt for the character in the first movie was all lost in this version. That's something that other people are saying, like the magic of the character of Arthur was kind of lost. I went to see Joker movie and the musical broke out. Not a good musical either. The story builds slowly with no climax. Decent twist at the end of the setup of the next movie. Guys, I think, was it Sean Chandler said it best. This serves like a very long epilogue of the first movie because it doesn't really evolve Arthur that much. It's just kind of like there's one scene in the courtroom where you get to see him sort of evolve his character, but then it's kind of like we saw him get hit by the fans in the first movie, like when he was being taken away in the cop car and everybody's cheering on him. It's like a 2 hour longer version of that, which we already saw in the first film, right? So it's kind of like it undoes it all. So watchability factor for me, guys, let's go down to the final score sheet here for me, and we'll try to round this out. Watchability factor, if you like the first movie, you're going to want to watch this movie and check it out to see what they do. If you're a Lady Gaga fan, you're going to want to check it out. If you're a Joker fan, then you're going to want to check this out. We're sitting at 5.5 here. And I said directing was middle of the road, but I got to say that directing here, I'm going to knock it down because they've already, they're not breaking fresh ground here with what they did with the twist at the end of this movie, because I already alluded to events that already happened in the Gotham TV series and probably in the comics as well. So 5 out of 10 is the middle of the road, and that's a generous 5 out of 10 for Joker, Folie A Deax. What do you guys think? Did you go out and see it? Were you let down? Let me know in the comments below. I know I echoed a lot of other people's sentiments, but it's kind of hard not to spoil too much without, really getting into it. And I don't know if I want to. I'll publish that short, and you guys will hear my spoiler thoughts in that. And that's going to be it for Joker. At least this iteration of Joker. It made me want to actually watch. I'm slowly getting tired of the realism side of things. I want to see the fantastical Joker and Harley story of how toxic that relationship is. I want to see the Joker just crazy, over the top, big. Yes, I want to see that. And maybe that we should see that next, because it was a good attempt, but I know that a lot of people are not going to like this film. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and we will talk about it. You're watching Mirror Domain!